Started on our switching. Dispatch is giving us our switching sheet for the day. So we'll get this thing up so everybody can see. There we go. And yeah, looks like a good list. Looks like a very good list that Dispatch has given us. At the end of the stream, or near the end of the stream, I guess, I'll show you a couple projects that I've been working on this week to make some additions / changes to the switching layout here. Nothing major. It's just more a visual thing than anything else. Replacing a couple of the billboard signs that I currently have on the layout here. So, anyways, I'm just trying to get the throttle, get it to cooperate with me here. Since me being the silly person I am. The excuse me. The selection for my wireless control that I wanted, I missed the number. So now I'm just waiting for it to start back up again. So bear with me for a second. We'll just chit chat here for a moment or two. I hope everything is good where you are, weather-wise, and hope everybody's been hard at work on their model railroad layouts. All right, we're back up here. So let me get the right channel in on this thing this time, and then we can get started. Today we're going to be using our GP9 TT as our switching local. She's been sitting there for a while now. I haven't used it, and I thought, today's a good day to actually add that locomotive to the switching. So we'll select number 2 because that's the position she's sitting in. We've got track power. The only thing I haven't done, and bear with me for a second, gotta get all these construction vehicles sorted out and get their emergency lights on. There we go, that's much better. Can't have emergency vehicles out there without their lights on. Come on now. Anyways, let's get this engine to locomotive started up. And we can get switching. We get a couple of linked moves here by the looks of it, looking at the sheet. We've got a couple of vehicles. Man, now I'm going to have that on my mind. We've got a couple of cars sitting at the cold storage facility. We've got to move them. We've got a boxcar. Where's my stick of God here to point out what we're dealing with? So we've got a boxcar sitting over at the cold storage facility at the east end of the switching yard here, and we also have a tank car sitting back behind it, back by the oil storage facility back there. And that's going to be our first 2 moves. We've got to get them out of the cold storage facility. The tank car has got to go to the welding shop, and our boxcar is heading to the outbound track. But yes, with the tank car, that little tank car going over to the welding shop, we've got to move over at the welding shop. That has to happen as well. Sitting in the welding shop that you can probably hear in the background, we've got a spine car that's sitting in there, and we also have another tank car sitting in there. And the spine car has to stay where she's at, or at least stay at the welding shop. But the tank car is sitting way inside, so we're going to have to pull that one out, and he's going over to the east maintenance building, which is this building. If you're looking at the east view camera, east facing camera, where the little pointer stick is right now, that's where that tank car's got to go. So I guess we'll get things started here. Need to wet my whistle here. Lovely, there we go, much better. So yeah, it's going to be, looks like a few good moves today. Again, for those who may be new to the channel, I use a spreadsheet that has a formula in it that all the cars, what they're capable of going to or coming from, is in there as part of the formula. And what I do, I've got about 16 cars, I guess. I'm gonna have to get some more, I think. We got about 16 cars out there, and what I do is I just randomly pick from that group of 16, and I'll put in between usually 6 and 8 cars in into the spreadsheet. And as I say, the formula knows where the cars are capable of going, which is kind of a nice thing. So I'll never get a car technically that'll go somewhere where it shouldn't be going. And that's how I generate my switching list. So it has a starting location, and see, there I am talking and not paying attention. It has a starting location and it has an ending location that it has to end up at. So that being said, our first moves today based on our switching list, we've got right now 3 cars at the cold storage facility, but 2 of them currently are going to be doing a move. And I have to pay attention to what I'm doing rather than talking. There we go. All right, so we're set. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to grab all 3 of those cars that are sitting in the cold storage facility and do some moving around. We're going to pull out the tank car, and we're going to pull out the box car, and then we're going to put back in the covered hopper there, or the green car. So we'll get up there and we'll grab these 3 cars together, ease our way in there. And hopefully we've hooked up. We're about to find out. We'll move forward, and whoever didn't get hooked up, the cocktail stick of God will help it. But it looks like we got all 3 cars, so that's a good thing. See, you threaten them with that, the cocktail stick of God, and they behave themselves. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring all 3 of these cars into the inner track. We will then drop off the tank car and the yellow box car. We actually can do 3 moves here, move all 3 of these cars. I think that's what we're going to do. Save ourselves some fuel and some brain cells. After all, the switching layout is more like a little bit of a puzzle when you're handed your dispatch papers, when you see where the cars have got to go, and you do have to work it out. So let's disconnect. I'm gonna have to get my cocktail skewer here. Just saw it not long ago. Where did you go? Oh no! Betcha I dropped it on the floor somewhere. Well, we'll use the big pointer of God. That's not working. It's too big. There. cheat big time. If you're going to cheat, cheat big, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come in through our double crossovers here. And we're going to get onto our main line. And then come back around. Ooh, I moved that big rig this morning when I was setting things up, and I just saw the TT there give it a little nudge as we went past. That's not good. So we quickly fix that problem. There it is. There's my cocktail stick of God. It was hiding under the pencil that I used to mark off our switching sheet here. So what we'll do is, as I said, we're going to back this loco up. We're going to bring it back on the inside track. Our industry track, as it were. And we're going to... I don't know the easiest way to make these moves, to be honest with you. Now what I'll do is I'll stop the locomotive here in a second, and I'll point out the slight dilemma that I have. Alright, we're going to stop that puppy there. So we've got a tank car. This little black tank car here has got to go over to our welding shop, which is occupied currently with two other cars. This yellow box car, which was at the cold storage facility, he's heading to the outbound track, so that's cool. We can get rid of him. And then our grain car here was at cold storage, and we are heading to the grain silos, which are situated here in our central area. So, yeah. Dilemma. Should have done this slightly different, but hey, here we are. We'll carry on as if we know what we're doing. And obviously I don't know what I'm doing because I didn't pay attention to what my crossover was set for. I should have. All I had to do was look at the lights, signal lights. And that would have told me. But oh no, not me. Why would I do that? Alright, let's try this again, shall we? Before I get too crazy here on doing this, yes, I have a grain car that's got to go to these silos, but I'm just looking at the central maintenance, which is just to the left of these silos. And there's a covered hopper sitting in there. Huh. Guess where he's got to go? He's got to go to the welding shop. We had a busy welding shop today. Well, I think before we move these guys, we're going to leave them where they're at. We're going to attack this from a different way. Oops. Didn't mean to hit the mic there, folks. Sorry about that. Let's back this microphone up a bit. There we go. And just when you thought it was safe to play with model railroads, there you go. Hey, let's pour a bit of the coals to this puppy. All right, I think what we're going to do, I'm going to try and deal with the stuff that's sitting in our central area. As I say, that covered hopper's got to go to the welding shop. The tank car that's sitting in the welding shop that you probably can't really see from the camera views is in there, but it's in behind the spine car with all the logs on it. And what I've got to do is that spine car has to actually go back in there into the welding shop once we get the tank car out. So let's see if I can figure out how to do this. I think what I'm going to do, we're going to get up here and get on that track at the central maintenance building. We're going to hook up to that covered hopper. We're going to pull him out. We're going to go up to the welding yard. We're going to grab the spine car and the other tank car that's sitting there. We're going to hook that up to the covered hopper. We'll pull back all three of those. We'll spot the tank car on the central maintenance building track. That's the track where the loco is sitting right now. As we creep up on that covered hopper, making sure that we don't ram her into the back of the facility there. We'll just make sure that we've got it before we get too crazy. Looks like we're not hooked up. Didn't think we were. Those of you who have been here before know my beef with N-scale couplers. Not much you can really do about it. So we'll just back things up here. Back that thing up. So we'll do this. We'll stop just a little bit past the switch, heading up to the welding shop. We'll get that switch thrown. And time for another sip. Let them know that we're coming in to grab these cars. See if we hooked up here. And we did. That's cool. All right, so as I said, the game plan here is going to be, I'm going to pull all three of these cars out. We're going to switch back onto the central maintenance track. And for those of you who are paying attention, that'll be this switch that's hidden behind the trees. And central maintenance is right here. And we're going to spot the white tank car. on that track and then uncouple. And then we'll pull back and drop the spine car and the covered hopper off at the welding shop. That's first move. At least that's what my head says is the first move. We'll see how it all works out here. I said the other week what I'm going to have to do is create a backstory for why these cars are sitting or being pushed into the locations that they are. The only problem with doing that is I don't really set this up until the morning of this switching session. So that's a bit of a difficult thing to do as far as setting up a background story to why these cars are where they are. Come on. And this little tank car is short as well. So my pushing on the coupler is making things even worse. There we go. So yep, we'll move him back. We're looking good at this point. That's doing exactly what I was hoping we'd be able to do. So we'll get this spine car and this covered hopper into the welding shop. Earlier when I was looking at this switching sheet, I had it in my mind to do this all a different way. But it was only looking at the paperwork at the switching sheet to determine what I wanted to do. And seeing it actually set up here and having to make the moves made life a little more difficult. So we've got two cars being dropped off at the welding shop right now. That's great. But I do believe the spine car, yeah, you're staying where you're at, so let me check that guy off of the sheet here before I get myself totally messed up. So he's done. Kurt Hopper, he's done. He's going to be at the welding shop. And we've got this black tank car still sitting on our inside track. He's got to get over to the welding shop as well. So, how do you want to do this for us? I think we'll get him in next. How's that sound? Yeah, I like it too. First things first, I need to get these guys uncoupled. So bear with me as I reach over top. Get the cocktail stick of God in there. Get things uncoupled. Little tank car. Where are you going? Oh, you're going to East Maintenance. And this is a weird switching session today. Trying to figure out this. Like I said, in my mind I have things kind of set up how I want to do it. When it comes time to actually looking at it, quite the way I envisioned it. slow down. You move too fast. So ignore the fact that my head's turning left and turning right here. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how I want to make these moves while looking at the track itself. Okay, enough of the bell. We'll apply our brakes. Get things going forward here. I'm thinking, and I know how dangerous that can be. Man, oh man, I'm not sure how I want to do these moves. But we will get them done. Doesn't really matter. So we're going to try this. I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to try it anyway. It's a good thing we've got no main lines coming through today. Very quiet from that perspective, and that's fine. So what we're gonna, here's my game plan. Doesn't mean it's right, but here's my game plan. We're gonna move this locomotive in this tank car back to our inside track. We're going to move all 4 cars down the line a little bit here. We're going to disconnect the 2 tank cars. I'm going to drag the 2 tank cars back. Like I said, this is going to be an ugly switching session to do this, but we'll get her to work. We'll get her to work. So, here's our dilemma. This black tank car has got to head over to the welding shop, which we just dropped 2 cars off at a covered hopper and a spline car. Not a big deal. That's easy peasy. But to do that easily, we need to drop off these other 2 cars, and we'll just do that down the line a little bit here. Oh, we got a derailment, sports fans. What happened there? What happened there? Whose wheels came off? I'm going to blame the cold on that. Expansion of the rails, there was a gap, I'm sure of it. It's probably me. So, as I was saying, what we're going to do, we're going to move down the main line, or down our industry track here a little bit. We are going to make sure we're clear of our double crossover here before we do that. So, we have got those guys clear of the double cross. We are now going to come back up into the industry tracks. Thought we were stuck there for a second. That's why I hesitated. Sorry about that. Wasn't sure why we weren't moving. And then, yeah, so we're going to back up here. We're going to pull these guys into where the cold storage facility is for a moment. And then we are going to push the black tank car up into the welding facility. We will uncouple at the welding facility. We're going to pull the white tank car back. Like I said, this is all live. This is all in my head, how I'm going to do this. So let's, oh, don't do that. Not yet. Wait for it. All right, there we go. Now we're set. So yeah, we'll get this black tank car up into the welding facility. I don't have to worry about how many cars are there. That's up to the welding guys to figure out how they're going to move those things around. They can call in one of the other switching units to do that. But our job today is getting cars in and out of the various areas that they are currently set at. Okay, he's spotted, or he's where he needs to be, which is a good thing. So he is there, that's good. Now, what we have to do is we got to play around a little bit. So we're going to have to drag this little white tank car out. We're going to bring him onto the inside industries track. We're going to uncouple. We're going to do a run around between the two double crossovers. And we're going to push him. Let me make sure this is right. QSOX 746, QSOX 746, yes. Went from the welding shop. He's going to East Maintenance, so he's going to be going to this building that I'm pointing at with the pointer of God. So, let's see how this is going to work. Again, in my head, this is working out correct. Doesn't mean that it's the right way to do this. But it's my way of doing it, and it is my railroad. After all, it is Rusty Tracks Railroad, and that's me, your host, Russ. Hey, and if any of you that are out there are new viewers, please like and subscribe to the channel. As everybody else says on their YouTube channels, it'll help the YouTube algorithm, whatever that means. So what we're going to do, as I said a few minutes ago, we're going to stop here. Uncouple this guy. This thing gives me a hard time every time. It's got to be the length of the car. I can't seem to. Well, no, it's got Bachmann couplers on it. That's what the problem is. I was going to give it heck because it was just a short car, but that's not quite what the problem is. The Bachmann couplers are a larger coupler than the microtrains, or KDs, or whatever you want to call them. And they just don't play nice all the time. So what we're going to do, we'll go through the east double crossover. And then we're going to go through the central double crossover to bring us back onto our industry track. We'll get our light set, so we're set to go. We'll get ourselves up there. I'm just going to move these guys up just a bit. I know, cheating. But what are you going to do? I like this old Atlas GP9TT. Not as much as I like my GMD1. That GMD1, every time I look at it, I have to chuckle a little bit, because to me it looks like a basset hound with that long nose on it, and maybe it's the paint scheme, I'm not sure. There's something about it that makes me laugh. You're hooked up. Of all the times for you to do that. And I know it too. Here it comes, watch, we're gonna pull. Oh, it didn't. Surprise, surprise. Usually when I don't want them to couple, they couple. And when I want them to couple, they never do. And for those watching, next Sunday, there will be no live stream. I will be in Ottawa, Ontario, attending a whiskey event, an annual whiskey event, and I won't be getting back until late on Sunday, so I'm not going to get a chance to actually do the broadcast. So sadly, yeah, I'm going to miss out on a live stream. But that's fine. Might be the last time I attend Whiskey Wonderland in Ottawa. This will be year number 3 for me. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. It's a fun event. We've got about 40 different vendors / manufacturers there, or distillers there, and we get well, I've got VIP tickets for myself and my other half. She's not a big whiskey drinker. She enjoys whiskey, she's just not a big whiskey drinker. And yeah, we get some lunch paired with some whiskeys, and we get a dinner that's also paired with some whiskeys. So it's yeah, it's a fun event, very fun event. But when next year rolls around, I'll be 72. Not so sure I necessarily need to be venturing down the road of whiskey anymore. I mean, I still like it, that's not the problem. And I'll still buy it as well, that's not the problem. And it is a fun social gathering. And we end up with a few hundred, maybe 300 like-minded whiskey people at this event. And it is open to the public on the Saturday for general admission, which I think starts at 4, if I'm not mistaken. 4 o'clock for the general admission, that is. We'll be doing whiskey earlier on than that. But some of my favorites are going to be there, which is totally awesome. Ardbeg will be there. Lafroig's going to be there. Delmore might be there again this year. I don't know. I haven't seen the full list of the participating distillers. Less talk, Russ. Worry about your switching. Okay, so we have done that one. The tank cart is sitting at the East Maintenance. Excuse me. We have to get that brown-green car. This guy right here. He's going to end up at the... Oh, bugger. He's got to get... Well, he's in a good spot. It's just not what I thought he was going for. He is going to the grain silos, and that's fine. For some reason, I had it in my mind he was going to the co-op. Nobody's going to the co-op today, according to the sheet. But where he's sitting in the line here is going to work out really well. So we'll move him back up here again. I should have looked the sheet over a lot clearer. Hey, there he is. How's Mr. Scott Rail doing today? And Anfield, we won yesterday. They got some bad referee calls yesterday, I'll tell you. Wow. Well, Floyd-esque music, shall we say. You gotta love royalty-free stuff. They've got some good royalty-free music out there. I didn't know how I was gonna get some background music in there, but... Yeah, Anfield cleaning the track, isn't that a treat? And I'll tell you. Hey Dave, what nights are you? It's been a couple of weeks now. Just busy. Retirement just, I'm not supposed to be this busy. Anyway, what nights are you streaming again, Dave? He's done. Yes, good stuff. All right. Usually Fridays. Okay, cool. I will make a concerted effort to keep an eye on Tuesdays for sure. And I'll try and get in a habit of watching you on Friday night. For some reason, I used to do it religiously back before I actually decided I was going to start doing this YouTube channel stuff. And as I was rebuilding the switching layout here and getting all my T-Track modules together, all my scheduling kind of fell by the wayside of what I was going to do as far as watching guys' YouTube's channel. Well, not just guys, I mean, a few women out there. But yeah, it was just nice to be able to watch everybody's channels back then. As I say, it's kind of fallen by the wayside. So this lonely little boxcar now. He is supposed to be going to our outbound track. But we have two pickups on the outbound track. We got a grain car and we have ourselves a covered hopper that we need to pick up. And we can do that. The covered hopper is going to be going to the cement factory, so that'll be an easy draw in. And the grain car is going to be going up to the cold storage facility, which is at our east end of the track, which is over here. That would be our olive drab colored building over here. So we'll get these guys set up. We'll have to get this guy on our outbound track. And then we'll grab a hold of those two cars sitting at the far end. So I'll be right back. I gotta go out of camera. You hold on, entertain yourself. This end of the track. You can hear periodically defect detector going on. But today I've got it turned off. I'm going to use the power supply, the battery bank that I used for it, to power up something to show you guys after the switching session if anybody's left. Alright, coming back. Still needs some stuff. Temporarily, you're going to see my ugly face again here. So I got to get the covered hopper. Again, fortunately, things worked out well with placement today. It's really kind of unusual. Usually when I set up the switching session from the switching sheet, cars are in a, I don't want to say mixed up order, which is actually better for overall for switching. But usually what happens is I've got cars set up and they're in a position where I've got to do a lot of messing around on the in-out track or the double crossovers to get them in the right position. So I've just got to back these. Would help if I had paid attention to what I was doing. I was going to say I just have to back these guys up. Which is what I have to do. But it helps if you throw the switch The thing about model railroading, or at least for me, the thing about model railroading is I like adding stuff to the layout to make things more realistic, I guess is what I'm hoping to look for the word. Well, one of the things I've been working on isn't really real. I mean, it is realistic, but it's not realistic in the terms of modern times or old times either. You'll understand when I power it up. Actually, Denny would probably like it. Right, we got to do a little running around here again. I'm gonna have to start bugging Jimmy over at DIY and Digital again about finalizing or cleaning up his code on the double crossover signals. I mean, I'm not a coder, and what I'm going to show you in a little bit is testament to that. But yeah, it's nice. The double crossovers I'm using here on both the west view camera right now, where the stick is, and the central camera, those two double crossovers are being controlled by an Arduino and a motor controller. And the code's close, but it does have a couple of flaws in it. In that the lights, while they kind of throw correctly or show correctly, you've got to cycle through them a fair bit to get what you actually want out of it. And this occasion is one of those. In its normal operation, with straight through on both tracks, it's fine. When you throw the switch, or push the button as it were, and you'll see that in a minute here. Excuse me. You'll see that in a minute here, if it's going to work properly. So I'm going to throw the double crossover here on the east end, and we're red right now. And now we're going to be green for the straight through, and that's fine. And what I'll do is I'll wait until the loco goes through. And I'll push the button again here. And as you see, it went red, and it's red at this side as well. And now I have to cycle through the switch, the other switch, to cycle through the actual color changes, depending on which track. And I don't think there's any way software-wise to correct that issue, because you don't know which track is active. I suppose if you could do some block detection on the tracks themselves, and through logic make it that it would lock out a certain combination of the lights depending on track occupancy. But because for me this is just a switching layout, it doesn't make a lot of sense to really worry about that. Alright, so our game plan here is that we are going to couple up to this grain cart, and we're going to pull him and get him up into the cold storage facility. Which reminds me, this week I got to pull that cold storage facility up and raise it up just a smidge. I got one of my box cars is taller than the rest, and he clips that, the overhang. Same thing with the east engine facility building down here. He just clips the top of the opening. It's annoying. I could leave it. I mean, he just clips it. Doesn't stop it, but I can hear it as it hits it. And I find that very annoying. And the other thing I want to do as well, the buildings down, both the cement factory and the co-op, and the facade for the storage, the factory storage facility on the central view, they, make sure I have my switches set correctly here, they have magnets in the bottom of the buildings. And what I did is I put pogo connectors, hot glued one to the bottom of each of the buildings and one to the base. So, and I'll grab one of the buildings here in a moment to show you. This guy up because he's easy to get at. So I've got a string of cob LED lights under the overhang of this building, as you can see there. And if you look carefully, you can see the pogo connector here. It's magnetic. And this particular one happens to be a 4-contact one. And you can see the magnets on the left and right hand side of the connector. And the nice thing is, magnetically, it just attracts itself to the opposite one that's sitting in the T-track module. And for me, for moving any of these modules for storage or whatever, I can just pull the buildings off and store them separate. And I don't have to worry about any of my electrical connections because they're already built into the system itself. And all of my, I should back up a little bit. I use a buck converter that takes my 12 volt accessory line and drops it down to 5 volts. I use 5 volts for all of my lighting. I just find it more convenient to use 5 volts. And some of the lighting on the trucks and the yard lights are all low voltage LEDs anyway. So I like to keep that voltage down around 5 volts. So what I was going to show you, we're actually done the switching at this stage. So let me move this loco out of the way. It'd be a bad place to leave it parked. I'm just going to pull her down here. We'll park it just to the west of the double crossover on our central module here. Keep it out of harm's way. And we'll put our brakes on at that point there. Lower neutral. And then we're going to shut down the loco. There we go. Okay. So, those of you who weren't here at the beginning, I said I was going to show a couple of projects that I've been working on this week. I can build electronics, that's not the problem. That's the easy part for me. Programming, I haven't got a clue how to do it. I can partially troubleshoot some of the Arduino code, but again, I'm not really good at it. So what you see on the layout, especially down at the west end by the co-op, there's a billboard sign down there that's currently just black and white, as well as I've got a black and white highway sign here sitting in front of me. But what I did this week is I've got a 2.8-inch screen that actually has an Arduino, an ESP32 controller on it. Microcontroller on it, but it's all built into one board, and they call it a cheap yellow board, cheap yellow display, CYD and it's all contained within one. The only thing you have to do with it is program it. And what did I just finish saying? I don't know how to program it. So I'm going to be replacing the co-op billboard sign with a new co-op billboard sign. This one's in color. I don't know how well it's going to come across on the camera, but we'll see. And it is set to cycle through various ads that I've got on. It's got an SD card. Oops, I'm drifting off here. Let me back up a bit. It's got an SD card reader built into it, and I've got some ads on there. So Massey Ferguson, Ford, can't even remember. DACOB is on there. The NFA is on there, National Firearms Association, and the CCFR is on there. I'm a firearms owner, just for those who didn't know. And yeah, so it's just going to sit. It'll sit there and cycle through and come back around and do it all over again. So I'm just in the process of building up the wooden frame for this. I want it to look slightly old school. So it's a little oversized right now because I haven't cut it down to size, but it will end up being kind of looking sort of like that by the time I put the back on and then build the frame, the legs for it, etc. It'll be fine. But yeah, there's the SD card reader on it, so I can put whatever ads I want on there and just go into the code and make the additions or the deletions of the codes that I want. And I mentioned Denny would probably like this other one that I've been working on as well. So again, I said that particular all-in-one display had an ESP32 on it. So that's actually the full normal ESP chip that most people would see. And I've got a little tiny color display. And I can make this one either vertical or horizontal. Right now I've got it set in the portrait mode. And I said Denny would like this one because it's got to do with the apocalypse and Fallout. So these are ads for Nuka-Cola, which is if anybody's seen Fallout 4, the series on TV, this is kind of part and parcel of that. So again, this is set to cycle through these ads, and I can change them at will. Again, I just have to hook it up to the computer to make those changes. So I can do that portion because I understand that portion of it, but I cannot write code that makes this actually work. As I say, I can be dangerous. In fact, I will tell you how I did these two. And it's taken me all week to get this to the stage that it's at. I've been using ChatGPT to create the code for me. And the stuff I've been learning the way to talk to ChatGPT to get it to do stuff, it has been interesting. I mean, yes, I know it's learning, but I too am learning as this whole process takes place. Because when something happens within the program, once I go through and verify the code, because you have to verify the code. Well, you should verify the code before you try and upload it, because when it uploads, it's going to verify it anyway. And if it's got an error in it, it's going to not upload. So you may as well verify it. So I let it go through and let it verify the code. And the code's usually pretty good. There's the odd time where it hasn't quite worked out the way it was supposed to. I get an error. Sometimes I can figure out the error, and sometimes I can't. But again, the nice thing about ChatGPT is you can copy that error that it gives you, put it within ChatGPT, and it'll figure out what was wrong. Sometimes it's a library problem because all the code, all the hardware uses what's called libraries or drivers, as Windows users would call them, to build the code within the code. And sometimes the drivers are wrong, or sometimes it just doesn't work right. And ChatGPT will suggest the right ones for you if you tell it what's wrong, or from the error code, that is. And again, it's kind of nice from the standpoint of it's learning, I'm learning, and you just carry on. And if things don't work out the way they're going, or that your end result isn't correct. And the example I'll give you here in a second. I'm just going to give my nose a little rub, just about to run on me. This all-in-one unit here, whilst great, it's a clone of another unit or units that are out there, and it's called a cheap yellow display for a reason, because it's only, I think it was $27 Canadian to buy this on Amazon. And yes, I could have got it out of China, but I wanted to try to run the code or figure out if we could make code work for it. And I thought for $27, what the heck, it was worth the investment. Well, the first time I did the code for displaying what you saw just a few minutes ago, all I got was a white screen. That's all it would display. It wouldn't show anything else. No errors. The code worked properly according to the verification. I'm staring at it and going, well, maybe it's me, maybe I did something wrong. I had to make sure all the wiring was right, and I couldn't see anything that was wrong with it. And when I say the wiring, there's a couple of things that you do need to do, but that's minor. And be careful with USB cables as well, because not all USB cables carry data. So you may hear a device, or you may see a device power up, but if you don't hear that usual USB sound, that do-dunk sound as if you've disconnected or connected something USB-wise, the likelihood is it doesn't have USB data on it, data pins on it, and it's just a power USB cable. Anyway, the point was, what I ended up doing, is because there was no error showing up, I had to somehow figure out how I was going to tell ChatGPT the problem I was having. So granularly, I wrote in exactly what I was getting and seeing on the display. And oddly enough, ChatGPT said, yes, well, that's a problem with X library. And it had, it had me actually troubleshoot a couple of things on my end. And again, I ended up with a white screen. It said, okay, well, let's try this. So it wrote some code for me to actually check to see if if its ideas what the pins were that were being used were correct. Because it got it to display a blue screen, a red screen, and a green screen. And it did that, and then it redid the code again, and magically things worked. So yeah, for someone like me who is not a programmer and doesn't have a clue, something like ChatGPT is fantastic. I don't like the way they've been using it for manipulating pictures and videos and whatnot, but for stuff like this, for coding, for someone that doesn't know but knows what they want and what the end product should look like, or do, I should say, I think ChatGPT is fantastic. There's a lot of troubleshooting involved in it, but again, you have to be granular with it and tell it exactly what you're seeing or not seeing, or exactly what the error is. So this smaller one with the Fallout ads on it, I can change one number in the code on it to make it turn the image 90 degrees. So if I've got landscape images that I want to display on here, I can. Now this particular billboard sign, once I finish building the rest of the framework on it, right now I've just got some corrugated styrene that I'm using as the front fascia for it. You can see it there. And it's going to eventually find its home over here in this little tiny field. And I'm thinking by the time I get the post built for it, something in around that height, I hope I'm not blocking the camera, something in around that height will be good for it. and I think it'll look good there. And just add one more piece of realism. Like I said, the ads aren't going to be necessarily realistic that I run, but at least it'll be kind of like one of the modern billboards that you see as you're driving down the highway these days. And it's a ton of fun. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you to those who dropped by. Fantastic to see you. And Dave, I know we've had some decent weather the last couple of days, if you're still there. And hopefully you'll get out and get to do some more train spotting. I've seen a few of your videos on your train spotting stuff that you've done. Fantastic. And maybe one of these days we'll get to meet up, go for a coffee or something. I'm retired, so if you're, I know you're in the upper portion of Hamilton, I'll say that. Perhaps we can get together for a coffee up around that area sometime. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to cut this off at this stage. I hope everybody has a rest of a fantastic day this Sunday. Enjoy yourselves, stay safe out there, and happy model railroading. Cheers, everyone.